What is self-inquiring? I mean, what is the act of self-inquiring? What is the process? What is the do or do in self-inquiry, you see? It's a special time of the year in the West for Christmas. So let's look at it from the point of view of Christ. There are many ways to self-inquire. But the religious or the spiritual, they try and inquire through this Christianity, this Christ, this whatever religion is related to this figurine, this Christ, this Son of God. But let's, before we look at the Christ self-inquiry, at who is inquiring. So, the most important question, the quickest way to understand the process of inquiry is to investigate. You see, is self-inquiring, is it about investigating? Is it about a need to find? Is it about meditation? Is it about religion? Is it about science? Is it about the person? Is it about me, the human? What is it about, you see? What is the process? What is the actuality of inquiring about myself? And what has Christ got to do with it? And you'll find that most enlightened speakers, Christ, Buddha, Ramana, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, Anandamaya Mani, Karoli Baba, Ram, Krishna, Shiva, Eckhart Tolle, they all talk about the need to know yourself. And when you know yourself, now that knowing is not a completion, but it is an aspect of an essential value of what you are, will reveal what the whole religion and spirituality ethos is about. So you'll get to know Christ, you'll get to know God, you'll get to know Ram, you'll get to know Krishna, you'll get to know all these incredible names and words and saints that aspired, that you are aspiring to before you know yourself, you see. So the first thing we have to discover, we have to inquire about who we are. And the most direct route was for me, of course, you have your own roots in both terms, you know, path, but your own connection, your own route. Was for me Papaji, when Papaji said, who is the who and who am I? Well, let's look at it in a self-inquiring way. Let's change the question to say, who is the who that is inquiring? Who is the who that is inquiring? Now the mind will say, well, I am inquiring. Myself is inquiring. But the mind wants to take shortcuts. You know, it's a very quick way to realize yourself and realize Christ and realize God and realize consciousness. But it's a very diverse way of looking at that quick route. So when the scientist is trying to find some sort of, let's say, vaccine or medication that's really important to the human life, they don't take what they've created and put it into one microscope and chemical and say, wow, that looks good, we'll settle for that one. They take it into 100 different microscopes with 100 different, you know, reactive chemicals to see how this thing reacts in a bigger scale. They don't just err for the one and say, right, that one, and then millions die with this foolish way of taking a shortcut. They look at it, they investigate it really, one vaccine, they investigate fully, you see, fully. So who is the who that is inquiring? You don't go over the first one and say, well, I am inquiring. Gone, done. End of inquiry. It's me, the person, the name, the Graham, what I always was, what a foolish thing to do. I always knew it was me, blah, blah, blah. And then you spend thousands of years making up new vaccines, new methods, new practices, new ways. Every now and then, I need to go back and look. I need to go back and look. Who is the who that is inquiring? Okay, it's still me. So let's look at the question before we look at this Christ, very important Christian association we have with the Spirit and Jesus and this life, this true living, this consciousness. So who is the who that is inquiring? So let's look at it backwards. Okay, so we're going to take the whole line backwards. Who is the who that is inquiring? Let's start with inquiring. What is inquiring? Let's look at the word inquiring. Inquiring means to find, to investigate. Inquiring means to investigate. I need to inquire. Okay, so let's tick the box for inquiry. Investigation. Next word backwards. Is. Who is the who that is inquiring? Is. The need to know. The need to know about the investigation. So we tick the box of is. 2 boxes ticked. Who is the who that? That means, what does that mean? That means completion. I want to find the end, the outcome. That is inquiring. Investigation, the need to know, and the outcome. 3 boxes. Pum, pum, pum. So we come to in the backward way, the second who, if you're looking at it from the forward way, let's look at it as this second who in the forward way, but the first who in the backward way. Who is the who? The who is the one that wants to inquire. Surely. Who is it? Who is the who? Who is inquiring? That is inquiring. Who is the who that is inquiring? The second who, or the first who in the backward way, is the one that needs to know. I want to know. This who seems to be me. This is me, wants completion, and the need to know of the investigation of me. So what purpose is the first who? Who is the first who, you see? Why did Papa G put in another who? It's me. I am the who that is inquiring. This person, this body, this mind, this whatever I am. So let's look at the second who. Who? Another who. Who is the inquirer that needs to know, that needs to investigate? For first who is observing the inquirer, wants to know what the inquirer is. Yeah? That's the questioner. The questioner is the one that questions that what is inquiring and needs to know the investigation, through an investigation. The who is the silent observer. So is there 2 of you? Is there 2 who's? Are you just the one who, or are you both who's? Are you observing yourself? I am the observer. I look in the mirror, and you, the other half of you, the same me, but a different me. I see 2 of me. So the second one, which one is inquiring and which one is observing? They both seem to be observing, and they both seem to be inquiring. I don't get it. I don't get it. The question is foolish. The question is just it masquerades the intelligence and the information that I know, that I've spent years learning. I'm making fun of myself. No, stick with the inquiry. Is there two of you? Are you observing yourself inquiring? You don't need the laptop or the mirror. Who is the who? Well, I am the who that is investigating. But who is the who that is observing the other who that is investigating? Oh my God. You see, the object is to stop the inquiry through a natural process of information, of stored intelligence, of programmed, conditioned stuff. To really look at the observer, not the one that is investigating, the one that is observing the inquiry or the investigation that seems to be taking place within me. Within me. Christ used in my Bible the word me. Is it Christ's word? Teacher writes on the board, me. Who is this word for? Every student puts up their hand and said, me, 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 me. Yeah, so you are all me. Christ says, through me. This is Christ. Let's look at Christ, not me. Christ said, through me, this man with a beard, this one that the people go to churches every day and they celebrate, and they look at the statue and the paintings and the wonderful beard and sandals and the imagination and the parables and the stories and the words and the meanings and the active actions and experiences and history of Christ. But they don't do as Christ said. Take the word. I'm sure Christ is in the Bible. I offer you the words. Take these words. I give you the words. But we don't take them. We think they're Christ's words. Christ is doing the greatest service by saying, I know my position. I know what I am. I know I am this Son of God. I want you all to establish your position. Not as second to me, but the same me. Does this make sense? By not taking the words from Christ, whether you're religious or non-religious, spiritual or non-spiritual, you're blasphemizing and saying no. So there's a complete dissection, a complete disbelief. And at Christmas time, so we don't follow Christ, we follow Santa Claus. That's okay, because Santa's a great guy. He brings my kids presents, He's wonderful. And he portrays the same act as Christ. And that's the idea of Santa at Christmas, is because we cannot, for one day of the year, look ourselves in the eye, and say, wow, Christ is present within me. Let's look at it, me. So Christ says the words, through me. He's saying, take the word me, use it. Don't point to me, says Christ, point to your me. Through me, I will reveal the way. And we still think it's Christ. We have to copy Christ. We have to replicate Christ. We have to do as Christ says. But these are the parables and the words that Christ put in place to get you in, and then to the mirror, and then Christ moves away because the inquiry now is with you in the mirror. So they're like a teasing in, these biblical words, to get you to the real deep investigation of what you are. So you go in front of the mirror and you say, Christ, thank you for the words. I am now the responsible owner of your words. So I say, through me, I is the way. You don't say it out loud because people think you are pretending that you're Christ, that you're another one sent down to be Christ. Christ is irreplaceable, but you can replicate the love and the knowledge and the wisdom of Christ and God and consciousness and all this life experience, the true living, through me. So who is, the body appears to be the one that is in control of this. So the body is taking ownership of being the tool, the vessel, so that Christ can reveal what you are as a representation of itself, using your body and your activities and your idea that there's an observer of me following this me to reveal I that takes the way to Christ. So through me, I am the way. You're not saying you're Christ. You're using your words. Everyone is distant. Everyone uses these words. No one is exempt. In some countries they don't use the word me. They use I. So through I is the way. Same I. Christ said in the Bible, you are the living truth, or God is the living truth, or I am is the living truth. I am the living truth. So I am is the connection to you, Christ, every single I am. Now let's go to the deep inquiry from Christ. Let's take yourself, you're doing the investigation. Who is the who? That is inquiring. I'm looking for me, the inquirer, inquiring through I to discover the way that I will reveal to me. You see? Let's go deeper. St. Thomas, the real guts, no religious people, not many. They take St. Thomas very serious. Doesn't go with the script, you see. Doesn't go in sequence. Doesn't fit into the Bible. Didn't even make it into the big Bible, you know. The big Bible is the path in. St. Thomas is the way out. You see? Yeah, Christ takes you in through the Bible and takes you out to the truth. In St. Thomas, lift up the stone, split the wood, and I will be there. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. People say it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Yeah. And you say, so what does it mean? It means Christ is everywhere. He's in between the wood. You know, he's under the stone. Yeah. So if he's everywhere, he must be within you. If he's everywhere, he only used 2 examples. Christ could have used hundreds of examples. You know, Christ could have said, put your hands in the water, pull it apart. And when the water comes apart, I will be there in the middle. Put your finger through the clouds. And when it goes through the clouds will separate. And there'll be a path. And I will be there. I am everywhere. Like space, says the Avadut. I am nectarian knowledge everywhere like space. So is the Avadut another Christ? Just another one from a different culture? Or is he using the same words? Avadut using the right words. I am everywhere like space. Christ says, split the wood. Lift the stone. I will be there. Everyone says Christ is everywhere. He is the space. It's the ghostly spirit of Christ everywhere. But he's separate from me because I'm just Graham, the man. Yeah, I won't have everlasting life. I won't be as good as Christ. I won't get on the crucifix. I won't, see the truth. I'm not the Son of God. I am just a flesh and bones figure that was born, unfortunately, in a poor family, and I will die. And Christ going, oh my God, what do these people learn? Split the wood is an action. Lift the stone is an action. Through me, I am the way is an action. Who is the who that is inquiring about me? The truth is the living. Christ is the living. You are the living. God is the living. Life, love is the living. Consciousness is the being. So the Spirit is everywhere, like space, like Christ as consciousness. That is the being. The lifting up of the stone is movement, is essence. The splitting of the wood is movement. The conducting the opera is movement. The breath is movement. The being is living, and the living is being. Through me, through this me, through this I. Christ said, I will reveal the way. I will reveal the way. You're a mirror. When you look in the mirror and you say to the one in the mirror, you do the words because I'm not good enough. Okay, do it, mirror. Please? Okay, I'll show you. I will show you yourself. Looking at yourself, I will show you because you can't do it on your own. So I will show you. So copy me, Mr. Same you in the mirror. Through me, I is the way. You did it. Great. Inquiry over. Something splits you in two. Split the body and I will be there. Split the mind and I will be there. Open the curtains and I will be there. Look at the reflection in the lake, and through the perception of what is seen, I will be there. Think, therefore I am, and I will be there. There is only I. Consciousness, being, I, living. Before the split wood is split, before it's even split, before the stone is lifted, consciousness exists. Christ exists. But Christ did not come to teach us as non-existence. He had to exist through the motions, the moving, sensually, consciousness that Christ is, that I is, that all is. You're not trying to be Christ. You're trying to understand yourself through Christ, through the words, through the lifting up of the stone, through the splitting of the wood, through the I in the inquiry about me. Who is the who that is inquiring? I am the observer of the self. Through that, as Christ, is I in consciousness investigating. And that's all I do every day of my life. And that's all every human being does every day of my life, investigate who we are. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you know is yourself. Oh, I'm awake. And the last thing when you go to sleep, I'm tired. And even through the night, the stone is still being unturned. The wood is still being split. The body is still snuggling. It's changing. It's sleeping. It's snoring. It's in peace. But it's still in presence of Christ consciousness. We're all Christ consciousness. Some attain God for a moment, but they always come back. And you can worship Christ in the church, as the figurine, as the painting, as the beard and the sandals, as the stories. Why can you worship it now after knowing yourself? Because I have experienced what Christ gave us. The knowledge, the wisdom, the words, for us to be free. Always present, infinitely here, immortally in love. Truly the living, as the self, as emptiness, as consciousness. So you can thank Christ, or whoever it is, that you are brave enough and strong enough and silent enough to go in solitude and accept the teachings for yourself. We're always a student, below Christ or Krishna. Same teaching from Krishna, same teaching, and a very different environment. There was no war with Arjuna. It was the war of the mind. The Bhagavad Gita just tells you about the mind and the separation and the reunited mind. You know, our mind is really defunct until you understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you have to go through Christ to understand yourself. And Christ has to come through you to reveal itself, to teach you that you're not just what you think you are. You are truly the whole, holy as you are. In whatever shape or form, the truth is living through I. Namaste Om. And a very merry Christian Christmas to whoever is seeking or non-seeking. God bless you all. Namaste.